chums, and welcome to another crate tank, because, you know, Wargaming gotta pay their bathwater. So, it is the Object 274A. They said to rate medium tank, and it is obviously in crates with a drop chance of 4%. And it may also include the Object. Yeah, you gotta protect yourself from legal liability, huh? So, the drop chance is 4%, and the rest of the drop chances is obviously miserable. Most of the time, you're going to end up with stuff down here, as you can see by the drop chances, or these XP certificates as well. So, essentially, you're buying XP crates. These are XP containers, which may include a tank. So, naming them after the tank is grossly misleading. Now, with that aside, obviously, you should never ever buy these because, again, they are XP certificate containers and booster containers, and if you want those, then there are easier ways to obtain them. However, if you want this vehicle, then I would wait for this vehicle to be sold at a reasonable price in the future. You know, not these. But, you know, let's see how much it's worth, given how well it performs. And always don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, something being new doesn't add value unless it's also better. So let's have a look at the Object 705A, and it immediately disqualifies itself from being any relevant with 185mm standard penetration. The APCR pen is 240, which is fair. If you look at something like a Ravioli, which has 200 and 250, we can clearly see that this thing does lag behind, and anything below 200mm of penetration on a tier 8 medium tank, especially for a premium, is simply unacceptable, because you're going to try to make creds with this thing, right? And you can't pen shit. Immediately disqualifies itself. I'd say 5k gold. That's a price for a vehicle like this, because that's what something like a T-34-3 and of the likes are being sold, and that's in the same category that this vehicle is. And just because it's new doesn't make it more valuable. And even in World Tanks PC, they sell them essentially in the same bundles from the beginning. So they could do that as well, but they don't because they're greedy. So what are you going to do, Wargaming? So 310 alpha damage. Obviously, that is not great, not bad. Obviously, it is above average because most of them are 225, but it does lag behind a Ravioli because that thing's in the shop right now. 7k gold. I think 7k is a bit too much for it, but if it were 1,000 less, sure. But still, that is a solid vehicle. This thing, on the other hand, aim time and dispersion are fine-ish. They're on the worse side of tier 8, but they're not by all means horrible. 0.32, that's solid. Dispersion on the move is also pretty solid, so that's nice. 7 degrees of gun pushing, which is bad, but, well, it's fine, basically. But compared to a M4 or a Chimera or a Pilot even. Remember the Pilot? Remember the Pilot was the worst thing that was in crates? Those times. Now, the mobility does look very strong, except for the Pilot here. Now, 20 kilometers an hour effective, or 20 horsepower effective here. That's not too bad. Traverse 48. It's very good. It's definitely very, very fast at the speed. So that's something good, right? Gotta give it credit for that. It does have very solid and above average mobility here. And now then, let's have a look at the armor of this vehicle as well. Let's see if obviously it's not worth the crates, because in the crates you have to pay upwards of 20,000 gold to obtain the vehicle, which it's not worth. It's about 5-6k. That's what it's worth. And no, if a tank is new, that does not add value. If you think it adds value, you're simply stupid. So with that said, it's like a new phone releasing and having the exact same features, but it costing triple the amount. Would you buy that? Only stupid people would. So a tank being just new doesn't add any value to it. It has to also prove its value by giving you something, by either getting you a great credit coefficient or a great performance or something outstanding that the game hasn't had before. None of these is true for this vehicle. It's boring. Basically, you have a lower plate that is very easily penetrable. You have the boat-shaped hull, so you can get some bounces off the side, so that is a bonus there, right? This sort of boat shape that you can't use to get a lot of bounces off the side, so that is definitely a bonus. However, that immediately gets ruined by this flat plate up here, so don't bother shooting below the tracks. Always shoot up here in this plate and have very easy penetration with only 60mm of armor, and you also are going to get a lot of HE shells through there if they hit it at the correct angle. So that's already not great. Now the front armor, it does look very, very angled, but it's only 80 millimeters, so it's going to get penned instantly, just like that. All shells are gonna straight fly through. So don't even bother. And I mean, then again, an STG might have problems penetrating this even with premium ammo, but then again, that's the STG, so yeah. Now, any regular tier 8 heavy tank or medium tank with premium ammo is going to go straight through the front of this vehicle, so it has no armor whatsoever in that regard. Now, 7 degrees gun difference is better than the Soviet standard, which is going to be 5 and 6. So that's a bonus. Very nice, yes. The turret is very well armored. However, the problem is here again, you have, if you look at it, you have this pointy in plate here, which means if you shoot here, it's essentially just flat, and it will be able to pen right here around this area if you do aim correctly. That's obviously not great. If you go hold down, that plate stays like that, and it still remains at 200 millimeters, just all the way up here. So it is going to be pennable, which is not great. It has 2 cupolas, but they're very far back on the turret, so you won't be able to hit them when the vehicle is hull down. So side armor, it's 100 millimeters, so it's not great. The turret is very angled, so if you turn it to the side, it also becomes weaker, obviously. But yeah, what we have here is we have a mediocre vehicle with nothing outstanding about it, and no features that will essentially add value to it other than the standard value of 5-6k gold. Therefore, don't buy this vehicle at all. And now, let's obviously go into the battle, and what we're not going to do is go over there. So, yeah. Let's see what happens, though. And obviously, I don't own this account or this tank, so I didn't pay for it, obviously, and I would strongly urge you to not pay for it either. Now, let's have a look. Obviously, 8.8 seconds reload for 310 alpha damage. That's not great, and as you've probably already seen in the stats, the DPM is not great. The problem with this vehicle is it's overall, there's nothing outstanding about it, right? It's, if you want a vehicle like this, and if in the shop for a reasonable price, let's say, you know, 4 or 5k for a tank of this performance, I don't care, buy it, don't. But at this price point, and especially because you don't know the actual price, you could get it after 10k gold, you could get after never. So most of the time, you're gonna pay a lot more than what it's worth, and that's how crates are designed. They're designed to make you spend money on things that otherwise you wouldn't. That's how gambling works. So overall, obviously, this is a vehicle that can... Why are you all so bad? Now, if you angle this tank, you can get some bounces, obviously. But those are mostly tier 7s that are bouncing, and you can use the armor well against tier 7s. But any tier 8, any tier 9, they're just going to butter straight through. Because as you saw, the armor is somewhere around 220 millimeters on the upper plate, so you're going to be able to bounce some shots there. Now, let's have a look at how well it side scrapes. Probably not too well. It works, but again, that's the lower part of the hull that is sort of boat-shaped. That is going to be able to bounce quite a couple of shots. So the armor is better than, let's say, on a Pershing or anything like that. The problem is that doesn't make up for the fact that it costs an insane amount of money. Okay, here we go. 2k damage. That's okay so far. Some adrenaline going and go around. The Vulcan, which is a tank that it's like, I think this is the first time I actually see this thing in the battle. So that's cool. Here we go. I'll take him out. And it plays like a regular okay-ish tier 8 medium tank now. It's nothing special. It's not miserable either, obviously. It's okay, basically. But that does not make it worth its price. Ever. At all. Because you have like a Type 59 or whatever, other types of tank like this that have been sold for very cheap before. And for very reasonable prices, and this one is just not reasonable at all. Alright, let's go in the second one here with the Object 274A with the Groot camouflage. I don't know, is Groot trademarked? Why wouldn't you just call it the Groot camo? It's literally wood planks. This is Groot. So, yeah. But unlike Groot, this thing is not very well at healing itself, it's pretty easy to dissect. Now, if this thing were in the shop for 5k gold, then it wouldn't be that bad of a pick, to be honest. However, obviously, it's in crates, and that's always a bad pick. So, nah. Now, what is also a very bad pick is getting your tank at a very high rank. Now, what I encourage you to do is to always focus high rank players, because then we can do something very easy. Obviously, the people that always keep your rank at level 1. Keep your rank at level 1. To show wargaming, you don't want the rank. Then, always focus the people with high rank. So the high rank players are going to start complaining that they always get focused. That's how we change the ranks. That's how we either get rid of them or make them in a way that actually makes sense. So, just focus them. It'll be funny. But anyway, they clearly asking for it, you know. So, there he is. Let's put that into action already. And let's see what we can do here. That Centurion might come back and shoot me now. I don't know where that WZ is, but 7 degrees of gun depression is going to be enough to get down there. And but 10 for the Centurion is enough for him. Now, obviously, it's not a miserable tank that is unplayable. It's not an STG. So, you know, it's fine-ish. But, obviously, great tank. You should never, ever buy. Kind of want to shoot... I don't want to shoot the Tiger again, but the team's doing a great job at focusing him. So, I definitely recommend you to do the same. It'll be funny, trust me. It'll be funny to have them complain constantly about the ranks. Let's get rid of our boy here. Amarak. It will be very funny. So, yeah. That's the easiest way to get rid of the ranks. Just have all the high rank players complain that they're being focused, and then poof. Okay. Here we go with the WZ. Should be easy to take him out, but you don't have that from me. I didn't say that. It's your natural instincts told you that that's what you should do. Nah. Anyway, the tank's okay. It's not horrible, but it's in crates. That makes it horrible. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. Goodbye.